Bonjour, bonsoir, buenos dias, buenas noches. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Thank you so much for liking these videos and taking the time out to watch and share. It truly means a lot to me. Today's episode of Catfish was a little bit odd, but we're going to talk about it. So Neve, today he was with his wife instead of with Cammie. And I mean, like I said, it was an interesting episode. So Eli, he's 26. He lives in Alaska. And he met someone online. She's a gamer named Boulevard who lives in Chicago. So he actually moved all the way from Alaska to Chicago to be with somebody who he doesn't know, who he's never seen through video or any other means. And when he got there, she pretty much ghosted him. So yeah, it's definitely a crazy situation. So yeah, I mean, he told her that he would end up writing to Catfish, and then she kind of resurfaced and started talking to him again. So after a week of the foolishness, he ended up saying that, you know, he was going back to Alaska, and yeah, he pretty much blew through his savings and all that stuff just for this person, and this person kind of shitted on him. I mean, it's for lack of a better word. So, yeah, her name is actually Savannah from what he said, but he prefers to call her Boulevard, I guess, because that's the name that he's more so used to through the gaming, so it just feels more familiar to him. So one thing that was kind of good about the whole situation is that when she did ghost him, at least one thing that she did do was she ended up paying for his room completely for, I forgot how long, but she paid for the room, and she had also at some point bought him some DoorDash. So, you know, she did do a few things for him, like financial wise. So, the crazy thing about it was that she actually was talking, like, sounded like she was okay with meeting him through Catfish, and even came up with like a whole plan to say her cousin Kelly was a part of this and she would come out, and it was just like, what? You know? It was just all a little bit odd. Things were just, what? So Neve and Laura, they end up doing their investigation. They speak to his friend Dakota, who kind of like was a part of everything. And Dakota actually says that she sent him money as well, like actually thousands of dollars. She helped him out with his rent and helped him out with other stuff as well. You know, so that was definitely interesting. And he said that he feels like it's an older woman. So almost like a sugar mama type of situation, you know? But yeah. So, I mean, he says that he's been cool with Boulevard or Phyllis. He said the name that gave him the money was actually Phyllis, which it's supposed to be her mother. So yeah, things were just all over the place. So they meet with Eli to give him the updates of what they found out, and he had no idea that Boulevard was giving Dakota money as like money. So that was like news to him. Like everything was just so confusing. They finally go ahead and message her, and she's like, oh, this is weird. And she said that she was busy, but then she also said she can meet the next day. So head out to Chicago is what they had to do. So, I mean, when they finally meet this person at the address, Kelly, the cousin, was the person who came out. She couldn't really stay very long talking to them because she said she had a newborn, which it made sense from the Facebook pictures. But she says that, you know, it's her, and you know, but he's like, the voice doesn't sound right. Like, it doesn't really sound like her. So he wasn't really convinced that that was her, even though she was claiming that she was the person that was doing everything. She said that she was in the hospital when he came, and, you know, that's why things happened the way it happened. And yeah, like I said, he wasn't truly convinced that this was the correct person. The next day, well, she couldn't really talk too much or whatever. She did mention like Savannah and the mom had kicked her out, and she was having problems with them. So, you know, that was part of the problem, but they weren't there. So it was no way to speak to them. So he did kind of ask, like, you know, is it possible we could speak to them or whatever? So she's like, I don't know. They're like, can we speak to you again, you know, since you can't really talk right now? So luckily she was able to, you know, kind of set it up where they would be able to speak to her the next day. Next day comes around, she's actually outside the house. This was a different house that she gave. So now she just kind of confesses that this wasn't her. She didn't really have anything to do with this, that it was actually Savannah that was doing this and her mother probably. And, you know, she's not really good with them. They kicked her out. So finally Savannah does come to the door, and Eli actually looked like he was kind of glad, I guess because he recognized the voice now. He's like, yeah, that sounds like her. And then she didn't seem all that happy to see him. She was just like, what are you doing here? She's like, yeah, I know him from online. We play video games together sometimes. So she confesses that about 90% or more, no, like half or more of the times she plays PlayStation with him, but sometimes it is her mother that plays as well. So they asked, you know, would they be able to speak to the mom? They put her on speakerphone. Only Neeb was able to enter her house with the camera guy. And they were like in the kitchen, talked to her on speakerphone. And she just, it's like, I don't know. It's like she didn't know what was really going on. She's like, what is this? I don't even know what this is. I'm like, it's like those older people that just don't know what's going on. You know, like, I've never heard of this show. Like, it's almost like you're talking to your mom about, like me talking to my mom about something that just came out on the internet. She'd be like super lost. She would be like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Like, teach me or whatever. So that's how it kind of seemed here. And I do see how the voice resembled one another. So he even said it. He was like, now that I'm thinking about it, the voice on the phone could be like a older sounding version of her. So, aka her mom. And when they put her on speaker, to me, she did kind of sound like her. You know, they both have this like certain kind of way that they speak. So she just didn't really give too much information. She said it wasn't her. She said she has a boyfriend, that she shares bank accounts with him. So she didn't give anybody any money. And she tried to throw this other girl under the bus, saying that they had to do like police reports and stuff like that because she's a con artist and she was getting money from people. But on the flip side, nobody here said that she like took money from them. It was actually the other way around. So that part of the story didn't really make any sense. But it's like, it's almost like they would say anything to cover their tracks, you know, because the mom probably got outed and she's a grown up, so she doesn't want to look bad or whatever. So I feel like that's why she's not saying it. And, you know, kind of over the phone, people could just say anything and they could be just like rolling their eyes, doing whatever, you know. We don't really know. You can't really feel someone's emotions that well through the phone. So I was just like, But it's like at this point, Neve was just like, you know, if it is you, just cut it out because you're hurting people and it doesn't make any sense. If it's not you, then, you know, it is what it is, but somebody's doing it. You know, one of the trios or all the three of them, you know, they all teamed up, or two of them, it's at least two of them that's involved and they holding each other down. So if it's the mother and daughter, you know, they probably had a little conversation already on the sidelines of like, yo, because Kelly did say she kind of gave them the heads up. So they probably like locked that sucker down like, yo, we not cracking for nothing. So it's just kind of like, this was one of those where it kind of like ended in an airy space where it was just like, it is what it is, you know. But I mean, even though he didn't fully get closure, he kind of got closure because at least he knows now there's nothing really there, so he can move on with his life and just do whatever sets his heart on fire. So, I mean, I guess it's a win is a win, right? That's how they say, a win is a win. So I guess he just got to take it for what it is. After that, he never really talked to her anymore. and these people didn't even like want to talk to Catfish anymore. So it was the end of that. But an end of an era. That, I guess, all's well that ends well, and it ended. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you thought about this episode. It's kind of weird. Down below. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.